So welcome to our Zoom class on Glamour Magic. Glamour Magic has been a big part of my journey as a witch, and I'm excited to teach this Zoom class particular because I'll be sharing a lot of my own personal spells. This kind of stuff you're not going to find in books. This is the stuff that I work with personally. But before we dive into all that, let's talk a little bit about where glamour comes from. I teach this all the time. Magic comes from you. It comes from inside of you. It is not something outside of you. It's not something that you bring in. It already exists here. That's why I really resonate with the story of Marilyn Monroe. When I told that story in our first lesson, you understand that it's not about the clothes you wear. It's not about the makeup, but it's really about how you shine. And a lot of what I'll be teaching you today is that you can use objects like a crown, like a lipstick color, in order to amplify that shine that's already inside of you. I think this is the most important part of glamour magic, is that glamour, as we've talked about, is an illusion. So you are creating an illusion. How do we do that? Glamour is a recipe, and it's a recipe for putting literally a veil in front of you. It's about holding back. It's about not showing everything. Why is this so appealing? Because we live in an age of thirsty oversharers. Everybody is blasting everything all the time on social, through their cell phones, and it's not sexy because it's raw. And honestly, that's great for some things. Like TikTok is so big right now because it can be raw. Glamour, in my opinion, hello, Euphrates. Glamour, in my opinion, really began in the early evolution of film. In silent film, you had to create character. You had to create glamour through makeup and clothing, and you were creating an illusion of a character. Long eyelashes, big voluminous lips, and if you look at 1920s, teeny tiny little pencil eyebrows. Again, it's an illusion. We don't know who this person really is, but we see beauty. In the first video, I say glamour is beauty plus distance. Glamour is always going to need space to work. So, for example, glamour is, you can't be glamorous like in your kitchen room. It's not the same. You can be glamorous outside, where your people are seeing you from a distance. So a lot of glamour is about people's perception of you. It's really, really important to understand that when I talk about glamour magic, we're not talking about physical changes in your body. I'm not going to be able to change your eye color. I can't give you long hair. But what I can do is teach you how to magicify those extensions that you're buying, your eyelash extensions, your makeup, your tools. Again, magic comes from inside of you. When you put it into those tools now become magical. So a really good example, a very basic one that I teach, is how to basically consecrate and bless your tools. And in this case, your tools are makeup tools. And this can be done with clothing. This can be done with hair extensions. And it can be done with basically whatever you want, whatever makes you feel beautiful. I realized that a lot of glamour and the literature we have right now is very women centric. It's very feminine, but glamour is not a gender. It's, again, an expression of you. I think that's what's, again, really underlying that. It is an expression of you, but you're hiding something. You're hiding your vulnerability, and you're bringing something else to the forefront. So let's put that into like a more physical concept. I'm going to use myself as an example. So example, for me, I'm short, and I don't see being short as glamorous or sexy. And guess what? Hollywood doesn't either. Most of those actresses, like for example, Lady Gaga's 5'2". Tom Cruise, it's like 5'5". So they create the illusion of height. They do this through camera angles, and I do it through wearing heels. I can and have and will again wear 8-inch heels when I go out because I want to be tall. And it's again, it's an illusion. As soon as I take those heels off, that illusion is broken. If you want, for example, today, as you can see, I'm wearing some pretty extensive eyelash extensions. These are, they are faux, I don't remember, faux mink, like 3D double lash, like intense eyelashes. I could not wear these all day, every day. And honestly, my favorite feeling in the world is ripping them off. Uh, so, but this is creating an illusion of this smoky eye and like very dark. Again, when I talked about glamour in the first video, it is about that illusion, constant illusion. But some people think it's trickery. Is it? I don't know. I think that's really up to the intention. And I think that's we fall into some really sketchy territory where it's like catfishing. No, glamour is not catfishing. Glamour is one side as an expression of yourself. You as a human being are multifaceted, just as I am. I am certainly not glamorous every day. There are some days where I guess let's try not to use patriarchal terms like plain Jane, but maybe I'm chilling. I'm in sweatpants. Beauty can be anytime, anywhere. Glamour, specifically the shinies, are not. You create those. So let's talk about some of the stuff that I do personally and how I do my glamour magic. For me personally, lipstick's a big color. I know a lot of you have caught on to this. I wear very bold, unusual color lipsticks, including like electric blue, black, strange purple. Why am I doing this? One, color association. We've talked about color magic in the very, very beginning of mystery school. If you don't remember that, you can always go back and review that lesson. But colors have associations, not just magically, but psychologically. That's why red is so prominent for like sex appeal, because humans collectively have decided that that color red is lustful, is sexy, it is alluring, more so than black, which is, I guess, intense. Some people would say even like, duh, it's dark, but like maybe intimidating. I shared with you the beauty lipstick spell of fusing intention. You can do that with anything that you want. There are many ways to do this spell. For example, the big thing that I do for the lipstick that I've already shared, but then also eyelashes. Enchanting my eyelashes to basically bring in attention. You don't have to have a god or a goddess to do this. Again, the magic comes from here because you are the human. I take those eyelashes. I keep them in the box because you like can't get your hands and oils all over them. And I create my sacred space. And in this space, I put a lot of different things. I put pearls. I really like pearls. I think the pearls bring in not only like a classy kind of feeling here, but I also like the mother pearl where it's like multifaceted, colorful. And for me, that's illusion, right? Like if I put the pearl one way, it's purple, but over here it's blue. That's how I want to be perceived. I want to be so multifaceted and confusing and mysterious. Then I also bring in obviously amethyst. I also use opalite. Opalite, some people get like weird about. I love opalite. Same thing, illusionary quality. Another great stone is rose quartz, of course, always for this kind of work. I also recommend a cleansing stone. Selenite's great for this. And then I run my eyelashes through all those stones. Obviously cleanse first. And every time I bring them over a stone or put the stone on top of it, if I'm like leaving it overnight, is asking for the quality of that stone. That's why doing your research is so important when you are creating a ritual like this. What are you asking from this magical tool? For example, amethyst is really great for magic. So I want my magic to be amplified when I'm using amethyst. And when I'm using selenite. I want to remove any insecurities that I have, especially about putting on falsies. That's like been a big thing for me, is like learning to get comfortable with putting on false eyelashes. So it's kind of, you're really pulling yourself through again, it's a recipe of illusion. How am I creating this illusion? I'm removing naivete, I'm removing insecurity, and then I am adding magic, I am adding beauty, I am adding, in this case, like the essence of the pearl. Very simple ritual that you can do with anything. And even more so, something that I like, I don't do it as much now because I'm not like going to out to places, but is getting, if you work with a specific entity, or if you don't, you can also use planetary magic. So Venus is a planet of love and beauty. You can go get Venus oil or make it yourself and anoint yourself with this oil. Where do you want people to pay attention? Collarbones. Show me that long, beautiful neck. Be careful, don't get it in your eye, on the temples here. Kind of like if you're applying highlighter. It's and then for me, I would use Lilith oil for this. And I would ask for her blessing to bring the attention of whomever I'm seeking. And be very specific when you're asking for that. Like, who do you want attention from? You don't want attention from creepy old men. You want attention from a specific gender, specific age bracket. Very important to make sure that you give those specifications. Otherwise, you could just get like glomp of everything. And that's why I say we don't stumble into glamour. Glamour is specifically created, and in some people may even say it's a performance. I don't like saying that it's a performance personally. Well, yes, it is, but it's more than that. You are displaying a certain part of you that is glamorous. You already have it inside of you. You're just bringing it out by creating what we call glamours. I talked to someone, you may know them. Their name is Unicold Unicron. They are a quote cult leader from Los Angeles. And when I met them, they had so many glamours on that like I was literally blinded by this person. I was like, you are so beautiful and so alluring, and I need to know about you. You can see when they take them off too. This person specifically enchants their makeup, the palettes on around their highlighter. They also enchant their clothes. In fact, they have all of their clothes handmade. And I know they sew sigils inside, which is really interesting. And something I thought would be really cool is that if you wanted to enchant a clothing item, if you didn't want to bless it or run it through incense or something like that, they actually make a sigil and sew it on the inside of the sleeve. I thought that was super cool. What else did they do? Um, Again, color palette is really big for me specifically. So this person was wearing white, but it was like a shimmery white, and then like this really beautiful, vibrant blue. And to me, that goes purity and empathy. Glamour can be even simpler though. It doesn't have to be super intense. It's again, it's just an amplification of you. That's why you can be almost anything and glamorous. You can be poor and glamorous. You can be short and glamorous. You can be plus sized and glamorous. You can be nerdy and glamorous. And most importantly, you can be old and glamorous. In American culture, specifically in Hollywood, there's this idea that you have to be youthful and young to be beautiful and glamorous. It's not true. Let's think of some really famous older, for example, we're going to use women who are glamorous. We can also talk about men as well. Oprah, glamorous, plus sized, beautiful soul. Let's talk about Jeff Goldblum. He's like 65 and he's gorgeous. And the most important thing about age in glamour is that you're not trying to hide your age. You are being confidently yourself and your age. Jamie Lee Curtis, yes. Is that Queen Latifah? Absolutely. Those are glamorous people who are older. And the list could go on and on. So when I think of glamour, there's definitely a very important distinction between youth and glamour. Now, glamour may include things that youth includes, like vitality, sex appeal, flirtation. But again, that's not just required of youth. You can have that at any point. Don't let the media tell you that when you hit a certain age that you're useless, regardless of your gender. You can always recapture that glamour, that illusion, if you have the confidence and self love to do so. So, this is where we're going to get into some tough love talk that I know it's not always fun to hear, but glamour is only as strong as you are because you're creating it. Now, how do you strengthen your magic? The same way that anyone strengthens any muscle. You work it out a lot and you know when to rest. It's about building self confidence and it's about building self love and self respect. A glamorous person, I'm going to be a little crass here, but a glamorous person isn't going to be sitting at a bar thirsty waiting for the first thing to take her home. That person sits comfortably at that bar, regardless if somebody approaches her or not. It's about having an unwavering self awareness. Now that's hard, but that's the purpose of magic, is ultimately to have this self awareness that becomes a spiritual evolution. And it's not easy, it takes a long time. But the more you do it, the better you will become. And the stronger your magic will be across the board, whether you're creating healing, whether you're doing glamour magic. But what are some like very simple things that you can do in your life to create the illusion of glamour? The easiest one is social media. You shut up. Be quiet. When you are not blasting everything in your life, you are leaving room for people to wonder. You are leaving room for the imagination. If you, like me, enjoy like sharing things, you can download like anonymous apps where you can just have like a journal where you just shout things into the void and nobody will know who you are. You can do that if you absolutely want to continue to share on social media, but allow like you as yourself, keep those thoughts private. Keep them off your public persona on Facebook. People don't use Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, whatever you're doing. Very easy step. But you'll be surprised at how much we've conditioned ourselves to just type and shout whatever we're thinking at any given moment. Another very easy thing to do is to listen more. Talk less. People will wonder what you're thinking. I taught this psychology hack. If you really want to know somebody, give them the space to talk. Sometimes we are, especially women, we are always like thinking of the next thing to say. Don't let there be an awkward silence. No, let there be an awkward silence and see how that person fills it. That is probably the best way to get to know somebody is how do they fill an awkward silence? Do they even choose to? I've had conversations with people where we just stare at each other for 10 seconds. That is the longest 10 seconds of my life. But I just stand there and I smile and wait for them to say something and see what happens. You'll be very surprised what you learn about people. But I think probably the most important quality of glamour is humility. Glamour is not taking shots of your private jet and posting on Instagram. Glamour has a specific level of class. They're not my favorite people, and I do not endorse them, but the Kardashians are very good at glamour magic. And they've also done this amazing thing where they've been able to humanize themselves through reality TV, but still be glamorous. Why? Because they ultimately control the cuts. They control what goes in and they control the narrative. You can do the same thing. You can control what energy you're giving out. A glamorous person, if you watch someone walking down on the red carpet, Their shoulders aren't going to be hunched over, and they're not going to be trying to hide themselves. They're going to be fully confident. Ooh, her name is escaping. She was in Euphoria. It's Zidara. That's not. Thank you. Yeah.
Sundial.
Yes, she's excellent at glamour magic. She has this really beautiful ability, like Marilyn, to be totally plain Jane or just like ordinary, and then she turns it on within herself. And you can if you look at photos of her, you see it's blasting mostly from her throat chakra and her heart. In fact, if you go through lists of celebrities or just pictures of glamorous people, regardless of gender, age, or race, you can see where that energy is emanating from. And almost always it will be the heart. That is the most, there's no more important chakra, but it's definitely the most powerful in those photos because they are ultimately showing such a genuine self love. The last thing that I want to say about Glamour Magic before we open up to questions and just some free chat would be creating mantras for yourself, creating and working with your energy. This is the basis of every magical thing that you will do, is creating vitality, which is creating prana, which is creating your life force. In fact, I learned this pretty recently, that the word charisma literally means grace of the gods. So, charisma is like this natural thing that like people don't know how to cultivate. Well, start cultivating it within yourself. How do you do that? I am worthy. I am powerful. I am thoughtful. I am glamorous. By teaching yourself and creating new neurological pathways and beliefs that you are these things, getting to the frequency of glamour is going to be so easy, not hard at all. And what's really important is that yes, glamour is a reality that is created by other people and you tap into it. So, study glamour. What is glamorous to you? What color lipstick makes you feel powerful? What power poses? You'll notice this on Instagram. Certain people will have power poses. I've got power poses. And that is a way to exude your energy in a specific direction. You're directing your energy in a certain way. If you don't want to commit to it full time, you can go get extensions. This is my real hair, but I used to wear extensions pre COVID. They were pretty long, and that is something that made me feel glamorous. And I took I mean, you have to when you have extensions, take really good care of your hair. And that extra 40 minutes every night of me like braiding my hair and putting it up in the bonnet was a act of self-love. So you can give yourself that feeling. During COVID, it's a little bit harder. We can't go to spas or we can't go get massages, but you can do it yourself. I know in the beginning, someone shared with me that they really enjoyed the self-love ritual that I put out in the beginning on Patreon. You can go find it in our content library, but creating that sensation, creating that circuit of self love in your body and in your mind and soul is ultimately going to give you the heightened version of yourself that you're looking for. Because remember, you're not becoming somebody else. You are amplifying who you already are. You are being the mother pearl. Which way am I turning you? What colors am I seeing? So, to create a glamour, it helps you feel protected, it helps you feel empowered, and it helps you feel magical. So, I'm going to open up for questions. Feel free to turn on your mic if you want in chat. You're welcome to also, if you don't want to share, turn on your video. Please send them into the chat, and I will read that out for you.
Hi, Pythian. Just have a question. You look so beautiful today, and I'm wondering where your crown is from. It's gorgeous.
Thank you. So it's called Nicoletta Beverly Hills. I'll put it down in the chat. I really love this person. She is a independent artist. I also follow her on Instagram. What are some resources that you recommend for Glamour Magic? So actually, I have a very good I was an IRL friend. Her name is Gabriella Hertzitz. I put her name down in the chat, and she's also referenced in the sources on our first video. She's actually writing a book right now on glamour magic. I saw a book that I also posted under the resources of our first video that is a glamour book that has amazing reviews. I have not read it myself. Like I said, most of the time, I've created my own glamour magic. It's a lot of things. I think it's very personal to you, and I know Gabriella will teach you the same thing. So for me, jasmine is like the scent. Patchouli and jasmine will heighten my sensitivity immediately. It heightens my, and again, I guess you could say personality, but what brings out that glamour inside of you? Some people um, will do a ritual art of dressing. So I used to do this with my girlfriends before COVID, where we would all get dressed up to go to clubs together, and we would do each other's makeup, and we would, help each other put on falsies. That ritual of getting ready together is a form of heightening your energy. And you can do it by yourself. You can do it by turning on some really nice music, and like if it's club music or if it's spa music, whatever makes you feel great. And do that ritual dressing, doing the makeup. Makeup itself is a ritual. People call it a procedure, but it's really a ritual. You're beautifying yourself.
I have another question. So, what about, you know, I feel like we all want to feel glamorous to some extent, but, there's times where you just don't feel it within you or you're just not having a good day. Do you have any tips for that?
It's
Those
very,
particular instances?
yeah. So if you aren't feeling very good one day or you're not feeling glamorous, smile. I know that sounds cheesy, but it really helps. Smiling is going to actually automatically register some neurons in your brain and it's going to lift your mood. I also recommend creating space in your life. What does that mean? It means simply meditating, even if it's for 1 minute, bringing yourself down, grounding yourself, getting rid of the anxiety and the depression. Again, it's all about vibrations. Next month, we're going to be talking about the basics of Hermeticism, which are the 7 Hermetic principles, and one of them is vibration. Everything is vibration. Money is vibration. Glamour is vibration. Veiling is vibration. In order to do that, you have to meditate. You have to learn to tap into these frequencies. There's not a quick way out of it. You have to train yourself. Meditation really is a training, especially when it comes to this higher level of magical workings. The one of the questions that came into the chat is it possible to use glamour magic to avoid attention? No, you wouldn't use glamour magic in that way. You would use a veiling practice. In order to do that, it could be simply some people enchant bandanas. I've seen that a lot on TikTok. I wear hoodies. Most importantly, if you're veiling, it's about covering your crown chakra. Cover that part of you. I also wear. You've seen some of the turbans that I wear sometimes. Those are also, there's other names for them, bonnets, head wraps, anything that's covering this space. You can just even be careful with hats though. Hats can have like style to them, which may attract attention. So it would be in this case, if you want to avoid attention, you're lowering your vibrations, but be careful and make sure that you're not getting yourself into like gross level stuff. Because there's always like, again, high vibrations are going to be more colorful and cleaner the lower you get. Just make sure you're not in the mud. And if you feel like you're in the mud, meditate yourself out of it. Bring your vibrations up, smile. The Taoists and Buddhists have this thing called the inner smile. When I was studying Taoism in 2000, it was 2012, I had to meditate every day for 30 minutes and I had to cultivate my inner smile. And there's nothing like sitting, being fuming, angry, and smiling. It's quite an experience. Um, we have another question here. Could tattoos be considered a part of glamour magic? Absolutely, and especially because they are artistic. So I definitely think that can be used. The color of the tattoos and the intention of the tattoos are probably most important. Also, placement. Where's the placement of the tattoo? And then we're getting into like acupuncture, and we're getting into your energy movements in your body. So, again, every location in your body has a connection to something, whether it is an organ, whether it is a feeling. So, where are you placing these tattoos? When I look online for stuff on Glamour Magic, it's hard to find. You're not going to find a lot of stuff. Um, why is that? Because it's, first of all, I think it's pretty new in our consciousness. For a long time, glamour was something only achieved through celebrity. It's not that way anymore. Anyone can create glamour, especially with the use of like iPhones and editing apps and all of this stuff. It's very easy to create an illusion. Are there certain types of meditations or visualizations that I recommend for glamour magic? Absolutely, Kelsey. So, when you want to visualize yourself emanating a certain color, meditate yourself in that color. Um, for me personally, it's iridescent. For again, I really resonate a lot with that mother of pearl iridescent color. For me, like that shiny, because glamour glimmers, really helps. I would choose a little bit like lighter colors when you are meditating because you're vibrating. But also, I guess visualization wise, what are you trying to emanate? Because glamour is about referencing something. Is it Marilyn Monroe? Is it Ruby Rose? Are you trying to emanate the glamour of Titus Burgess? Like, who are you working like not with? Because you're not working with an energy. Who are you trying to emanate? Who are you trying to copy? It's not a great way to put it, but like you're pulling that reference from somewhere. Um, meditate on that. What is it about that energy that you're pulling from? This is the one very few times in magic that I will think pop culture is acceptable. I think that you can learn a lot here by finding what you find glamorous and you can put it around your house. I remember in 2011, there was this girl that I knew who like her thing was cutting out pictures of celebrities she wanted to be like and posting them around her house because she's creating that frequency flow. And she did a pretty good job with it. So that's like an example of bringing that energy into your life. And then sometimes it's the self love meditation, focus on your heart chakra. Opening your heart to love is super, super important. Regarding glamour and depression, I find it hard to motivate myself to do anything. Is there anything that you can recommend to help me get back into things? Yes. So there's a morning meditation that I do. I'll post it on the Discord. That every morning is these like 5 affirmations. I am powerful. I am worthy. I am independent. I don't remember the other one right now. But like doing that meditation every morning, and because when you're waking up, your mind is still in it's coming out of the theta brainwave state essentially. You're moving from one vibration to another. And this is a very susceptible time. You're very impressionable during this time. And that's why there's that phrase like, did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Well, no, you just took in like some nasty vibrations when you woke up. That's why don't check your phone first thing in the morning. You don't need that energy. Take that 5, 8 minutes. I think my meditation's like 8 minutes, if that, maybe even 6. It's pretty short. And just listening to it, saying it to yourself, creating that vibration, that nice little, I mean, it's your aura, right? You're creating yourself a nice little bubble and you're ready to go. I find that really helps with my depression. And it's probably like one of the few things. Like, do you think I wanted to wake up and look like this? No, I wanted to stay in my pajamas and like wear fuzzy socks. But and when I heighten myself up to this and I find it as a act of self-care, a ritual of self-love, you're making the the assertion here that the glamour is for you. I'm not doing this for other people. Don't get stuck in that. Don't get stuck in the idea that this illusion is just for other people. Ultimately, and it will always be just for you. Do I have any mantras that helps when it comes to glamour magic? Oh, I just kind of answered this question. So I am beautiful. I am worthy. Worthy is really important because a lot of us suffer with self worth. So I am beautiful. I am worthy. Um, what else? Like, what when you find out each person is lacking something, right? So for me personally, I am a whole. I don't need someone else to complete me. That really helps a lot with glamour magic. When you stop trying to complete yourself with another person and you start completing it within yourself, so much easier. So much easier. Because again, you're pulling that from you and you're not pulling it from a desire or a want. Those are baseless. Desire and wants, that's just like an idea. You already are these things. And when you start believing them, you can go, oh, yes, I'm beautiful today. Let me pull my heart magic out and let me construct it in a way that makes me beautiful. Beauty is a frequency, glamour is a frequency. I think an easy way to look at this, and we can let's look at the color wheel, for example. So, um, vibrations, right? We know that blue is probably like has the lowest wavelength frequency. White has the highest, purple is with the second. And in between, there are all these frequencies. And we can attribute them to feelings. We can attribute them to emotions. Maybe if you go online and you look up like color frequency, you can make your own chart. What does this color make me feel? How do I feel when I wear this color? It's so personal to you. What are you trying to create? So today I wore a lot of purple. Purple, pinks, there's some white. Oh, it's on the side, white and yellow. Purple, purple. Watch celebrities. What colors are they using? Most of the time they're going to use nude right now because nude is like natural or whatever, but glamour doesn't have to be natural. I think people talked about this as well. I've seen it on TikTok. The colors of your nail polish is also really great. You don't want to do your nails, get some press-ons. That's it. It's just great. Like I love that. Like I don't like, yeah. Do it in 10 minutes. They stay on for a week. Yeah, I'm down with that. There's all kinds of things that you can do to elevate your state of being. That's ultimately what it is. You're elevating yourself. Earrings, simple thing you can do. Because it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be the whole heels, lipstick, fancy clothes. What was it? Those pants I just got, the abstract pants. They're like two different colors and they got abstract faces on it. Super glamorous. Why? Well, partly because it has art on it and there's been an art revival. So that's super cool. Also, I wear a lot of Renaissance prints. Why? One, because I really like Renaissance paintings and naked little angels on my pants are cool. Um, so I think that again, it's what you think is cool and what really like makes you feel like awesome. Like if you're really into wearing crop tops, you can make crop tops glamorous. Um, you can find like certain bathing suits, and that doesn't have to be the skimpiest bathing suit. You can look glamorous in a one piece. Again, it's all about how you enchant it. What ritual can you create that makes it special, that gives you that step, that space to create? Because glamour is space, there's distance.
Do you have any like oils that you recommend for glamour and specifically?
Yeah, I definitely do. Rose is really good if you can get any rose oil or rose. I actually use rose facial toner from Trader Joe's in America that I enchant. Um, I also recommend Venus oil. If you can order it from the Crooked Path, it's $5. Doing a dab of Venus oil, big world of difference. You can also enchant perfumes. I taught that a long time ago on mystery school. Very similar thing. So I have a signature scent and it's Coco Chanel Mademoiselle. And some people are like, this is a basic bitch scent. Because I make it what I want it to be. So I personally use jasmine incense when I do this. And I put it's same stones. I also use tiger's eye in this one. So it's amethyst, tiger's eye, and opalite. I put the perfume in the middle, take the incense, left hand, because I'm creating an illusion. I'm using magic. And then I draw the pentagram over it like seven times, I think. I'd have to look at my grimoire. And then I'm bringing in, so make sure you're bringing the invoking version. We haven't, I really should teach you guys that. So there's lots of different ways to make a pentacle. One of them is invoking, which you draw a specific way, versus banishing, which you draw a certain way. I will post a picture of that on the Discord and maybe on Mystery School so we can all learn that. So you want to invoke the energy of beauty, and then you're going to bless it. And you bless it, it's using your hand chakras. Put it in your hands, bring it to your heart, your head, throat, wherever you're putting. If you're doing it at the top, do it up here. Be careful if you're holding glass. And then breathe energy, prana, into that object. Make that object glow. That's the easiest way I can describe it to you. Another glamour magic that I have taught long time ago on witchtok was how to get rid of face acne. So I used witch hazel. Use whatever you want, even if it's like, I don't know what other there are in like Europe, but if there's like a toner that you use, you can use that. Just make sure that you research and make sure that whatever chemicals are in that product aren't going to dissolve your crystals. Do your research beforehand. You're going to take rose petals for this. Yeah, you need some rose petals, ideally just like one rose. You take the rose petals off and you rub the rose petals over the parts of your face that have a lot of acne. And then you're going to put those on your altar, because what are you doing? You're covering it with beauty. And then you're going to take rose quartz. You're going to bless it with either the incense, rub it between your hands, infuse the heat or the light, whatever you want to do. Drop that piece of crystal into the solution that you're using and shake it, in that intention. I recommend you doing it 3 times a day for like 2 or 3 days. Three is a magic number. So, and then when you put it on at night, I recommend you write a prayer, and it can be something as like Venus. The energies of Venus, I ask you to make my skin smooth and clear, remove any scars, acne, or tears. And again, this stuff doesn't have to be done. If you have a deity, awesome. If that deity works with light and magic and romance and sex, awesome. Work with them. You don't have to. You can just work with planetary energies.
This is more free chat. I'm looking through the website you provided, and they have so many cute things, and they're so affordable. So I'm excited. I'm going to place an order here soon.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm glad to hear that.
They have some really cute spider web shoes. They're so adorable.
Ooh, yeah. I think that they're like clothing for me is definitely a big glamour. And I grew up in the early 2000s, right? And what was popular in the early 2000s was awful, terrible low-rise jeans. And I am a very much an hourglass shape. So like that never worked for me. And learning to be comfortable, like I memorize my measurements, I measure myself, and I buy clothes specifically that fit my body. And color is really important. I learned a long time ago that, and all of us should know this by now, that fast fashion and consumerism isn't good for the earth. And it's ultimately, fashion goes out of style very quickly. Glamour and class do not. So whatever makes you feel special and glamorous, if that's like dark wash jeans and cowboy boots, then wear your dark wash jeans and cowboy boots. A really great role model for this is Dolly Parton. And Dolly Parton, like she always talks about when she wanted to be trashed when she grew up, because all of the women that she admired or thought were beautiful, her mother told her were trashy. And she took that and she's like, I'm going to be trash and made it glamorous, which I think is super cool. A nice tip from Liam just came in. Something that I found helpful is I like to have fresh carnations or roses or any flower really in the space that I get ready in. I feel like it boosts the energy room and helps me get into that glamorous mood. Absolutely. Fresh flowers are wonderful. I definitely keep those in my house around my altar. What are some of the brands that make you feel glamorous? And they don't have to be name brands. They don't have to be Gucci or Fendi, but like, are there any independent brands you guys really like?
I'm just for me personally, I love fake eyelashes and lipstick. That's like what I'm known for. Everybody's like, well, before pre-COVID, I would always be all made up to work. And everybody's like, how do you have time to like get up every morning and like do your hair and do your makeup? And now I find it a little bit more difficult because I'm working from home. So I don't do my makeup every day. But it was just something that like made me feel so like beautiful. And it's not because, I'm trying to hide something, but it's just what made me me. And so lipsticks, brands in particular, I'm not really like too picky. I just love them in general. And I love long, exaggerated eyelashes where, people are always like, oh my God, are they not heavy? Like, no, they're not. Like, I love them. My friend actually owns a shop. It's called Widow Witch Lashes. And she has really, really nice lashes there.
All right. I see we have some stuff that just came in. I really like thrifting and finding unique pieces. I do too. I think that's a lot of fun. My aesthetic is either all done full makeup or leggings and a t-shirt. But leggings and a t-shirt can be glamorous too. It can be. Like right now there's like this trend of Billie Eilish really started it. Like the baggy clothes stuff I think is really interesting. I think we're all just lazy and tired too. The world has been a lot lately. Thank you for posting that. It is now, I will definitely be checking out the Widow Witch lashes. That's really great. Yeah, and feel free to use that chat to share some of the places where you find clothes. I personally Poshmark a lot of my clothes. I think you guys know this. I try really hard not to give in to consumerism and try to use recycled clothing as much as possible. So for those of you who are creating your clothes, like I know the Ladiest Lady does it, like mad props to you. I tried sewing a thing once and I did it backwards. So no.
Also, for me, corsets were a big thing. I don't do it as much anymore, but corsets, just wearing them and, accentuating your waist, that to me is also like very glamorous.
Totally. For me, I love the color black when you want to create glamour. The only problem is I have an orange cat. So that's a problem.
I really like with tattoos because they're one of those things that when you have like quite a few, you forget you have them. So you like look down and you're like, oh yeah, I look quite cool with this.
Do you have sleeves, Sophie?
Not yet. Bit too poor. Working on it. I've got about 5 or 6 on one arm.
Wow, that's really cool. Which one has like the most meaning for you magically?
Um well, I have a hang on, put my camera on quickly. I have a little cat over my heart
Cute.
because I always feel quite like an affinity with cats and it's very close to my family. So that always helps me feel confident and happy when I catch it in the mirror.
Very cool. Yeah, it's really cute. I have a lot of tattoos. Most of them you cannot see though, except for this one because it's a message for everybody. As many of you know, this is the semicolon is somebody that you know who passed away from suicide.
I was just gonna say I don't really wear it, but red lipstick is like my go-to.
Hmm. I see a lot of you like the color red. What other colors do you like to wear? For me, I mean, I guess it is glamorous, but it's also like scary. I love wearing black lipstick. Like watching straight men freak out, like makes me happy. We got some black and dark green. Very nice, very nice. You feel most glamorous when you're wearing all black? Yeah, so do I. Ooh, purple and blue. Very good colors. Yeah. Now, when you say purple, are we talking about like light purple like this or like dark maroon purple? Oh, ooh, dark red is good too. How many of you have experimented with putting beauty marks? Like I actually, this is a tattoo that I got done on my face a couple of years ago. You can also like just put beauty marks up here. All you need is just a little bit of eyeliner. Yeah, I also just wanted to say that I had a face tattoo. Yes, black, absolutely, Liam. Black can definitely be a protective color as well as a glamorous color. That's a very good point. Yeah, look at all these beauty marks. Look at all you glamorous people. So I think the one thing that we all can definitely take away from this is that glamour is something that we create. Remember that. You create, it's like a recipe, it's like cooking. What can I put together that makes me feel powerful? That's ultimately what you're doing. You guys are so creative and so fun. I love this. Well, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for joining me this Thursday. I know it was a weird time, but as I'm going back to work, I just want to make a reminder for everyone to check your email for Patreon. That's where you're going to get all of your information and your updates come from patreon.com as we're using it. And of course, we will be doing new office hours. What are office hours? This is time where either myself, the Ladyest Lady, or Unlikely Mystic will be in the Discord chat, and you're welcome to talk to us, ask questions, whatever you would like to do. We're also going to be implementing more game nights where we will be doing online games. You can check us out on the Discord channel where it says Let's Play. So I hope all of you will take advantage of that. So thank you all so much for being here. If you need me, I'll be around today on the Discord, and I will see you all soon. Bye.